that one feels dry. Ooh.
And this one is wet. And now looks like wet.
Yeah, I think. Ooh, so I think this one feels kind of smooth to me. Does this one feel smooth?
No.
I don't think so either. Kind of feels bumpy. Yeah.
We have Monique saying that some of hers feel hard, some feel smooth. Yeah, mine feels, this one doesn't feel pointy, but it feels a little bit rough. But this one feels rougher. Parts of this are even kind of pointy.
Yeah.
These are all characteristics that tell us about these different kinds of rocks. So we're going to look at some other kind of characteristics or things about the rocks that help us tell them apart. But first I wanted to ask you all, what even is a rock? What is a rock? Do we know what it's made of? Where they come from? Are they all made of the same thing? What do we think?
Do you know what a rock is?
Yeah.
What is it made of? Sure.
What do we think?
What does this rock look like it's
Hard
made
and
of?
smooth. It's kind of hard to know what a rock is made out of, especially just looking at it. Do we think that it's something that's made out of plants? Do we think that it's something made out of, do we think that it's an animal product? We have some good additions in the chat, minerals, right? And sometimes, right, it could be even, if it's a type of rock that is extraterrestrial, so like a meteor, something like an asteroid is something that could come, or rather, yeah, an asteroid is something that we might be able to find on the surface of the planet. So some rocks come from outer space. I don't know if I have any of these that come from outer space in that sense, but that's a great point, that these types of substances exist many places in the universe, not just our Earth. So we could say that a rock is something that's made up of one or more minerals. Sorry, go ahead, Jennifer. You look like you wanted to say something.
Oh, yeah, Evie wanted to show you. We have a rock that she says is made up of shells.
Whoa, you guys have some rocks made up of shells?
Yeah.
We talk about weedy.
Yeah, we're picking them off right now.
So sometimes a shell, or sometimes a rock is kind of a mix-up of other rocks. So a mineral is something that is, it's something that's not alive. It was never really alive, right? It's just something that is made out of inorganic materials. It's consistent, meaning it's sort of made up of the same sorts of stuff if you look down on it at a teeny tiny level. Yeah, the Earth, in fact, is made up of rock and metal, right? So rocks and metals are something that we can find inside of the Earth. We can also find it on the Earth's surface. I was going to show you that this rock looks like it has kind of teeny tiny rocks inside of it. So a mineral is something that is all made of kind of a similar substance, one or more elements, so really similar substances. And a rock is just made of one or more minerals. So we're going to use the word rock because maybe we aren't totally sure exactly what minerals we have, but we have some ways of finding out. So I'm going to turn on my cam, my rock cam, so that we can get to one of my favorite parts of looking at rocks, and that is washing all the dirt off. I don't know about you guys, but I found some of mine in the dirt outside, so I wanted to wash mine off.
Peregrine, we were going to tell you we made an interesting discovery. We just turned over a big rock that we keep out in our front yard.
Oh no.
And there's a bunch of slugs on the bottom of it.
Wow. Wow, so you have some visitors that live on your rock. I know that I found, under this rock, I found a lot of roly-polies. I didn't take any inside.
I want to touch those two insects.
We're going to wash our rocks.
So one way that we can wash rocks without water is to use something like a paintbrush. So I have a paintbrush here. You can also use a toothbrush, an old one, not the same one you use to brush your teeth. Oh, we have some, Monique said that she found some ants underneath those rocks.
Yeah.
You can do it, you can kind of brush the dirt off while they're still dry, like that, if the dirt comes off easily like that. And you can hold your paintbrush in different ways, right? You can hold it kind of like a pencil, and that pinching motion is really good. It's a really good fine motor skill. So that's one way that I can kind of brush the dirt off of it. Any idea what else I might be able to use to wash off this rock?
Ooh.
What do you think?
Use.
I guess I could use my fingers if I wanted to. Yeah, Gwen, we could use Water, exactly. So I have a little bit of water with me. We're gonna give our rocks a bath. So one thing we can do is put our rock in the water. And you could kind of give it a bath with your fingers like that. Or you could take your toothbrush, put it in the water, and kind of scrub it. Oh, that's doing a really good job. How's your toothbrush doing, cleaning up your rocks?
Ooh. How's our toothbrush doing cleaning our rocks? Is it doing a good job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I come with?
You're cleaning that one? Do you want to try using the toothbrush?
You can use.
I can use, which one?
This.
You want to use the toothbrush?
It almost feels like I'm brushing this rock's teeth, especially because this rock is kind of a milky white color. It feels like I'm brushing all of the stuff off of it. Are any of you at home washing your rocks?
Did our water get dirty when we put the rocks in here? Yeah. What happened? Clean them off.
Oh, this at home are. That's great. It's really good texture play too. This is something I'm noticing as they come off. I'm feeling lots of gritty, kind of almost like sand coming off. Yeah. I'm noticing a lot of different textures while I'm doing this. It's a great way for me to cool off too with this nice cool water. And I love to wash my rocks as well as I can so that I can get them really super clean. And I also notice more things about them when I look at them. For example, I'm gonna bring my towel over here. For example, I noticed that my rock has some little holes in it along here, little tiny holes. What about your rocks? Anything you're noticing?
What's different? I think, Peregrine, some of our colors look different when the rock is wet versus when it's dry.
I've noticed that as well. Like if I have like this rock right here, which is sort of two different colors. Oh, we have Sam. Looks like Sam has a rock that's similar to this one. This rock looks darker when I put it in the water.
Yeah.
Have any of you noticed that water changes the way your rock looks? Because I've definitely noticed that. I have, in fact, a different kind of rock with me today that looks really different when it's wet versus dry. This is a little piece of flute right here. And here's how it looks when it's dry. It looks kind of, you know, smooth and dull. And when I put it in the water, it's very shiny and I can see through it to all the beautiful colors that are inside of it. So when I see it wet, it looks very different than it does when it dries. So it changes the color, it changes the shine. Ooh, Gwenna's saying that their rock looks shinier and sparkles more. That's a really, really great observation. So a lot of times our rocks are shinier, they're more sparkly because of the water on them. It just changes the way that the light comes and bounces off of the rock's surface. Jennifer, I learned that if you're the type of person who likes to buy rocks online, if someone is going to sell you a rock, the picture that they show you of the rock cannot show the rock when it's wet because it's misleading. It doesn't show you an accurate picture of what the rock looks like when it's dry.
Wow, that's good to know.
But it can tell us a lot about kind of the composition of the rock. Like I'm noticing I can see little tiny cracks now.
Yeah.
In this rock and where the material has filled in more. Yeah. Let me see if I can find a different one. Oh, here we go. I'm going to wash a little bit more of this rock off. So when we're noticing the sparkle and the shine, that's a characteristic. That's something that, that geologists, rock scientists notice as well. We call it luster. How shiny it is, how light reacts to the surface. So this rock is kind of dull. Even though it does change color, it looks darker when I put it in the water and it's a little shinier. I think that this one does not have a lot of luster. It's not very shiny when it's dry.
Like just that one.
What do you think? This one also doesn't have a whole lot of luster, though, although it does shine a little bit with that water on it. Something else we can notice about rocks in the light is how light shines through them. So do you guys have anything that produces light? If you have a nearby window, that of course produces light. For my camera here, I'm going to use my phone flashlight, and I'm going to see how light moves through my rock. So most of my rock here, it doesn't really shine through, but I noticed on the edges, I can see a little bit of that light shining through.
Wow.
So this is the opacity of the rock, meaning does light shine through it, or is light not able to shine through it? What do you think, Evie and Jennifer? Is there any light shining through your rocks?
We are seeing some light shining through our rocks. We're just noticing that when we do this, we can see lots of cracks and everything in the middle of our rock. It looks
Whoa,
like.
I want to see some of that. Now this one looks like it's not really showing the light very much. This one I would say is opaque. It's not showing me any of the light coming through. Whereas one like this, whoa, shows the light very well. This one I would say is very transparent. The light shines right through it. We have a great question in the chat. Is a crystal a type of rock? That is such a good question. A crystal is one way that rocks like to form. So here's an example of when I think of what a crystal is, I think of something like this. I think of something that's pretty clear, that's got some kind of straight lines. And a crystal is just a type of formation, a type of shape that some rocks like to take. So things like quartzes, like some of these that I have here, they have a crystal structure that's very, that we can kind of distinguish very well. It's very distinctive and noticeable. We see that it can help make them very shiny. It makes them kind of transparent. Also, we see that Sam does not see light through his other rock or any cracks. It's just kind of dark gray, but that they have a crystal growing kit that they like to do. I think that I heard something about that from you, Jennifer, a crystal growing kit.
Do you know where our crystals are that we grew? In the room? No? Yeah, we grew some crystals. We got a crystal growing kit, but I'm not sure where they are right now.
You can grow crystals. Well, crystals do kind of grow inside of rocks in a way. They just need certain kinds of minerals and certain kinds of heat that change the way that they form, that change their crystals or crystalline structure. So I have some natural crystals here, but you can also grow them in kits. A lot of times the kits grow different kinds of salts, because salt is something that also has a crystalline structure. We've looked at a lot of the way that rocks look. We have cleaned them up a little bit, but I wanted to try one more test. I wanted to try a test with something that's not water, but it kind of looks like water. I have a cup here of some vinegar. Does anybody at home have any vinegar?
We have vinegar.
Can you get that now home?
Oh, we're gonna take him home in just a few minutes.
So I have some vinegar, and oh yeah, we do have some vinegar, perfect. Vinegar is something that we can use to test rocks. Remember how when we put water on rocks, they looked a little bit different, some of them did. Vinegar has a different chemical in it called acetic acid, and sometimes it reacts with different kinds of rocks. One of the things it reacts with is made up of little bits of rock, like this piece of chalk that I have. And you have a different kind of rock. Is that right, Jennifer and Evie?
Yes, we do. We have a rock that's made up of lots of seashells, and that means it's made up of a lot of calcium carbonate.
There's more snails on there. We have a question in the chat. Does apple cider vinegar work? It sure does. It still has that acetic acid in it, so it should still work. So we're saying, what do we think will happen when we expose this rock? My rock is made up of little pieces of chalk, right? Which can be a natural substance. And what will happen when I put it in the water? I'm going to put it on a spoon, and I'm going to dunk it into my vinegar, rather. We're going to see what happens. Whoa, I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm going to see if I can bring it up to the camera a little bit.
What's happening?
It's dirt.
I don't know if it'll focus. Can you all see what's happening to my chalk?
What's happening in there?
Whoa, look at this in the corner.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys can even hear it. It's making sort of a sound. Yeah, it's making some bubbles. There is an acid-base reaction happening. So the substances in the chalk and the stuff in the vinegar are reacting to one another. You can even still see some of the bubbles happening on the bottom. It's not just air escaping, there's a reaction. So do you all see a reaction?
What do we see, Evie?
We are making bubbles.
Whoa, can we see it a little bit closer?
A little bit of.
Whoa, so you guys were using that rock made out of seashells, and it kind of did the same thing. Some bubbles are escaping. So I wonder, so it's not just chalk, it's things that have a certain kind of composition, rocks that have certain things in them. So I think that one experiment that we could do after this lab is continue to see if some of our other rocks react to vinegar. Like I'm trying this one. I'm going to see if I see a reaction. I don't know. I don't think I see anything. What about you guys? Are you seeing any reactions?
What's happening?
Whoa.
Hmm.
Yeah. We just dropped our whole piece of chalk in our vinegar peregrine.
Oh, whoa, what's happening to it? Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot of bubbles.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So some of ours are, I have another rock over here that I'm gonna, instead of dropping it in the vinegar, I'm gonna try and drop some vinegar onto it to see what it does.
I think he's waiting for us.
Yeah.
He's waiting for us to wait.
Ooh.
I'm seeing a few bubbles. It's a little hard to see here. I'm seeing just a little bit of bubbling on the chalkier part of my flint. This rock looks different on the inside than it does on the outside. So there's lots of different things that we could test out. There's lots of different methods we can use to test them. Whoops, I'm gonna get my other camera back on. There we go. We've kind of seen what we can tell about rocks visually with our eyes, right? Are there different colors? Do the colors change in water? How does light react to these rocks? Does it bounce off and make it very shiny with lots of luster? Can we see light through our rocks? Can we see images through our rocks, right? So opacity, I can't see anybody through this rock. It's very opaque. But I can see you all through this rock pretty well. So this one's very transparent, and some rocks are all the way in between. So we've tested them out with our eyes, with water, and we also used vinegar to show that sometimes rocks are made up of things that react with different chemicals. So this is a great thing to try with all kinds of rocks that you find all over the place. Sometimes rocks look the same, but when you clean them off or test them up, they act pretty differently. What do you guys think?
Is this fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Varen says that their vinegar turned kind of a light red. Yeah, mine turned almost a little bit orange. I wonder if that was a chemical reaction that you observed, Varen, or if that had to do with your chalk. That's really interesting. There's so many different experiments that we can run, and we've done just a few of them today. I think there's definitely some more that we could run in other little labs at home, but that's all the time that we have for today. In fact, we went a little bit over. So I appreciate you all hanging out with us today, checking out different kinds of rocks, finding out that there are so many different materials that you can find all over the outdoors, whether it be near your house or in a park or all over the place. There's lots of different rocks made of different things to be found. Awesome. Wonderful job, my friends. I want to thank you all so much for doing an experiment with us today. I hope that you will continue to experiment on your own. We'll look forward to seeing you all next week. And next week, we have a very special little lab at home where we are going to be exploring behind the scenes in Carolina wildlife. That's going to be very fun. I hope that you all will join us. Thank you all so much. We'll see you all next week at 10 o'clock. See you later, friends.